Hey, what's up guys? It's Luke, and you're watching Luke the Gathering. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. We're closing out AFR with some draft pick videos. Just looking at the cards, I've had these packs sitting around. I've made all of these videos straight in a row, and I just divided each video up in that way so that I could release them sort of on a regular basis. But we're going to do our last pack. Kind of sad. Last pack, AFR, right here. We're going to see what cards I would pick first in a limited draft format. And then, you can think about if you agree with me or if you disagree. So let's switch it to overhead view. Open up this pack as if we were in a draft. Let's see what we get. So we have the Delver's Torch, Board Robber, Hill Giant Herdgorger, Faraday's Fireball, Charm Sleep, Devoted Paladin, Silver Raven, You're Ambushed on the Road, Rimshield Frost Giant, Mimic, Blink Dog, Targ Nar Demon Fang Knoll, Eccentric Apprentice, Orcus Prince of Undeath, and tokens. So, I know what I'm taking first, for sure. It's in the best color pairing for Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. There's none better than this. We're taking Orcus, Prince of Undeath, as the first card, 100%. I would take this card every time, pretty much. There are maybe those other cards, but this guy is great. It's, first of all, it's for without paying anything more, it's 2 black, red. You can pay more to get some bonuses, but that's the basic thing. And you get a 5/3 flyer with trample. That's beautiful. But when Orcus, Prince of Undeath, enters the battlefield, you can pay more. And if you do, other creatures get -X until end of turn, you lose X life. So if you choose X as 1, he's a total 5 mana cost creature. Then everything that's a 1/1 dies when he comes in. Even your stuff, unfortunately. But he can wipe the board. If you pay 2, then everything that has 2 toughness dies. And not only that, but like even if you did just 1, everything gets -1. So like your 1/2 would be like a 1/1 at that point. Just saying. Could make a big difference in the game. Or you can return up to X target creature cards with total mana value of X or less from your graveyard. So you can actually bring things back from the graveyard too. This guy has so much potential in terms of like what you can do with him however you need. He's got so much versatility. He's great. He's flying. He's in the air. This guy is a must take. 5/3, my gosh. Okay, second pick. Second pick's a little bit harder. I think if I saw this pack, I think my second pick would be the Hill Giant Herdgorger. The Hill Giant Hamburger. It's just a hard name to pronounce. 7/6. Beef. Big beef. 4 and 2 green. When Hill Giant Herdgorger enters the battlefield, gain 3 life. So he even helps with the life gain synergy decks. Really cool card. Very strong, hard to deal with. For 6 mana, I think one of the best 6 manas in this format. Just a scary dude. I love the guy. After that, I think I would go with Faraday's Fireball. Faraday's Fireball is really interesting. I mean, for 5 mana, you're giving 5 damage to something, plus 2 damage to your opponent. That's great. The problem is, if you roll a 1 through 9, you also get 2 damage to yourself. That's like sort of the kicker there. Oops, let me fix the mic. The mic totally fell. There we go. Okay, so, what was I saying? Oh, Faraday's Fireball. It has like an inherent danger to use. You can actually deal yourself 2 damage with a poor roll. So, that's definitely a downside with Faraday's. Plus, I feel like 5 is a little bit expensive. But it is what it is. Next, I think I take Charm Sleep. It's sort of blues removal card. It's an enchantment, so the creature that's charmed and asleep is still there, but effectively it is a removal spell for 1 and 2 blue. I think it is blue's best way to get rid of creatures, so I would pick that next, especially if I was in blue. I really like this guy, the Rimshield Frost Giant. Every time I play against this guy, like I feel like I want to remove it. I want to use like a Grim Bounty or something, or a Power Word Kill on it. Then I see that it's Ward 3, and that's a pretty good ward amount, which means I have to pay 3 more mana in order to use anything against it. It has good shields. I mean, it's a 4/5. It's a beefy creature for 5 mana. Definitely a creature you need to be scared of if it hits the battlefield, and so I like this guy quite a bit. Next, the rest of these cards I'm just not a huge fan of. If I had to pick, I would probably pick Horde Robber, just because it's just 1 and a black. And whenever this guy does damage to the opponent, you get a treasure, which is awesome. Maybe putting a Thieves' Tools on it would be helpful in order to engage the ability. It's a decent blocker at a 1/3. It'll block all the 2/2s, so that's alright. But overall, I've been picking Horde Robber a little bit less and less, just because I find that he doesn't get through anywhere, especially later on in the game, and it's only 1 damage if he does. So, he's really decent in the early game, but after that, kind of falls off pretty hard. I'm going to go Devoted Paladin next. Pretty tough white creature here. Devoted Paladin gives +1/+1 to all of your creatures when it comes in, and it gives Vigilance. So, especially if you're going wide with white and you have a good lineup, this can really swing the game into your favor. Unfortunately, Devoted Paladin isn't hasted or anything like that, so it doesn't go in with your guys that turn. But if you had like the boots on or something like that, he could do that. But overall, I don't see a lot. I see this card used, but it's not like a card that you're super excited to take, if you know what I mean. Okay, after that, I think we will go with the Eccentric Apprentice. It's a flyer. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you get to venture, and you can eventually possibly make birds. I don't see Eccentric Apprentice used very often, so I don't ever see these birds being made. That's why I value them lower. I think oftentimes with cards that make creatures, like tokens like that, they are better, and you end up seeing them more in the format, but I rarely ever see the Eccentric Apprentice, like hardly ever. After that, I think I take Targ, Gnar. I just don't like I think green-red is a very viable combination. I just tended not to go with that. It's sort of the pack tactics thing. Color pairing. That's what thing is. Color pairing. And so, for 2 red and green, you can double Targ, Gnar's power to 4/4. You could also give everyone +1/+0 in battle with Pack Tactics activated. So actually pretty decent. Probably Targ Gnar is probably better than Eccentric Apprentice. Let me switch these two. I'd probably do it that way. Next, all these other cards is kind of a crapshoot, honestly. I think Blink Dog would go next. It's a double striker, but it's only a 1/1. And it has Teleport, which I never ever see being used. Basically just phases Blink Dog out. But if Blink Dog has like equipment on it, and it has double strike, then I can see Blink Dog being a bit of a threat. We'll go with Delver's Torch next. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. And whenever they attack, you get to go into the dungeon. +1/+1 is not too much. And the sad thing is you have to attack in order to get into the dungeon, but oftentimes, depending on who the Delver's Torch is on, you don't want to attack because you know that you're going to end up trading. It also costs 3 to equip, so it is a little bit on the pricey side. I used to value Delver's Torch a little bit higher, but I don't think I'm as high on it as I was. Next up, we'll go with Silver Raven. Just 1 blue mana, flying in the air, 1/1. You get a Scry when it comes into the battlefield, but I don't really see myself using Silver Raven very often unless I have to put in the deck because I don't have anything else. It's the only reason it would go in. Otherwise, there's not much to do with Silver Raven. Lastly, I think I would go with You're Ambushed on the Road. What it does is you can return target you control to owner's hand, or you can give +1/+3 until end of turn. It's a combat trick. It's one of my least favorite in white. There are better ones to use, and I think you could pick them up. This is often a pick that just is not going to be there, and so I would personally not select it. And lastly, we have Mimic. Mimic is also, I don't know, I've seen it being used, but Mimic is not the best either. It just doesn't ever make the deck. So for 2 mana, you can put this Artifact Treasure out there. You can sacrifice the Mimic to add 1 mana of any color, but then, you know, it's gone. Or you can shapeshift it into a 3/3, which I think is a decent body. 3/3 is a decent body. However, I don't think the Mimic is the best. And so I rarely pick it. And I think I just don't like the picture. I think the pictures don't look that good. Maybe I'm just biased in that way. But overall, I think Orcus is really strong in this one. And then the Hill Giant Herdgorger is also a really relevant card to possibly pick. So I think this is a pretty strong pack. I think it's well worth like the first pick out of this pack. I just think Orcus is amazing, and boy, if I got that, I'd be so happy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think. What would you have picked in what order? I'm very curious to know, and I will see you guys next time.